All right, ready to dive in. Today, we're taking a look at The Mind-Body Breakthrough by Nazrin Nasser.
Well, this one's been on my list.
It's caught my eye, too. It claims to be the guide for busy professionals, people like us.
To reach peak performance in just 90 days.
That's the claim. Strength, confidence, productivity, the whole shebang. And without some crazy life overhaul, which is appealing.
Definitely appealing. The idea of getting big results from small changes, that's what really intrigues me.
Me too, but is that really possible? I'm a bit skeptical, to be honest. Is there any science backing up this small habits, big impact thing?
Oh, absolutely. The book delves into how habit formation actually changes our brain's wiring. Specifically, the basal ganglia. That's the part that takes over when actions become automatic.
So the more you do something, the less you have to think about it. Like muscle memory, but for, well, everything.
Exactly. The more you repeat a behavior, the more deeply ingrained it becomes. Less effort, less willpower needed over time.
That makes sense. And the book talks about these keystone habits, right? What are those exactly?
Keystone habits are like the foundation of a house. Those core habits that have a ripple effect, impacting other areas of your life positively.
Give me an example.
Say you start exercising regularly.
Yeah.
That might lead to better sleep, eating healthier, even being more focused at work. One habit, multiple benefits.
Okay, so it's like a domino effect of positive change.
You got it. And the book goes a step further, giving you exercises to help identify and build those keystone habits.
I like that. It sounds much more manageable than trying to change everything at once. Now, fitness is obviously a big part of the book. I'm always a little wary of those quick fix fitness plans, especially with a busy schedule.
I hear you. And that's where the mind-body breakthrough takes a different approach. It recognizes that traditional fitness plans often fail for busy professionals because they're just not realistic.
So what does it suggest instead?
Instead of hour-long gym sessions that are tough to fit in, it focuses on short, effective workouts, like 20-30 minutes.
No more excuses about not having enough time.
Exactly. It's all about consistency over intensity, finding ways to move your body throughout the day, a quick workout during lunch, walking during phone calls.
Okay, that makes sense. But what about the mental aspect of fitness? Motivation can be a real struggle when you're juggling a million things. How does the book address that?
That's a great question. One of the things I appreciate about the Mind-Body Breakthrough is its emphasis on aligning your fitness goals with your broader life goals.
What do you mean by that?
Instead of just focusing on losing weight or building muscle, it encourages you to connect your fitness journey to something more meaningful.
Can you give me an example?
Sure. Let's say you have a big presentation coming up and you're feeling nervous. Framing your workouts as a way to build confidence and reduce stress can make you more likely to stick with them.
I see. It's about making fitness feel more purposeful, more connected to your overall goals. So it's not just about how you look, but how you feel and perform in all areas of your life.
Precisely. And the book digs deeper into this, exploring mental toughness and how pushing through physical challenges can build resilience that translates into other areas of your life.
Okay, now that's interesting. So working out isn't just about physical strength. It's about building that inner strength that helps you face challenges in all areas of your life.
Exactly. The book gives some great examples of people overcoming self-doubt and achieving goals they never thought possible, all thanks to that mental toughness they built through fitness. And this leads us to another key concept, energy cycles.
I was just getting to that. I'm intrigued by this whole idea of energy cycles. What are they exactly?
They're basically your body's natural peaks and dips in energy throughout the day, often called circadian and ultradian rhythms.
Oh, so instead of trying to fight those natural ebbs and flows, the book suggests working with them.
You got it. It's all about understanding your own rhythm and scheduling tasks accordingly.
So, for example, tackling those demanding tasks when you're feeling energized and saving the less demanding ones for those natural dips in energy?
Exactly. High energy periods for your high focus work, and those low energy periods for things like checking emails or organizing your desk.
That's a game changer. I'm definitely guilty of trying to power through when I'm feeling drained, but I can see how working with those energy cycles could make a huge difference.
It can. The book also emphasizes the importance of nutrition, sleep, and exercise for optimizing those energy levels, but we'll dive into those more later. Now let's talk habit stacking, one of the simplest yet most powerful techniques in the book.
Yes. I was eager to hear more about this. It sounds almost too simple to be effective. How does it work?
The magic is in its simplicity. You link a new habit you want to form to an existing one, something you already do automatically.
Oh, like attaching it to something that's already ingrained in your routine.
Precisely. It makes the new habit much more likely to stick. Want to start meditating? Do it right after you brush your teeth.
So simple yet brilliant.
Exactly. Or every time you make coffee, do 10 squats. Small actions, big impact over time.
I love that. It takes the pressure off trying to revamp my whole routine at
And
once.
that's the beauty of the mind-body breakthrough. It's about sustainable success, turning health and self-improvement into a lifestyle, not just a temporary fix.
That's what we all want, right? Sustainable change that actually sticks.
Absolutely. And one of the key principles the book highlights is shifting your focus from outcomes to habits.
Okay, I'm intrigued. What's the difference, really?
When we obsess over outcomes, like a certain weight or promotion, we get caught up in the end goal. We might miss the joy of the journey itself, but when we build solid habits, the desired outcomes tend to follow naturally.
So it's not about forcing change, but about making those small, consistent efforts that ultimately lead to the bigger picture.
Exactly. And the book really drives that point home with its 90-day transformation blueprint.
Ah, yes. The blueprint. Tell me more about that.
It's like a step-by-step roadmap, but it's personalized. It helps you define your vision for well-being, set realistic goals, and then break them down into weekly milestones and manageable daily actions.
So it's not just theory, it's a practical guide to put these concepts into action.
Precisely. It emphasizes tracking progress, celebrating small wins, and adapting the plan as needed.
It sounds incredibly comprehensive. I'm really impressed with how practical and accessible this book seems to be. It's definitely making me rethink my approach to self-improvement. What stood out most to you?
One thing that resonated deeply with me is the book's emphasis on balancing ambition with well-being.
That's so important, especially in today's always-on world. It's easy to get caught up in the hustle and forget to take care of ourselves.
Exactly. The mind-body breakthrough offers a refreshing perspective on achieving success without sacrificing our health and happiness. It's a reminder that we can strive for excellence while prioritizing our well-being.
Well said. This has been a fascinating exploration so far. We've covered so much ground about the mind-body connection and the power of small, consistent actions. What's one key takeaway you'd like our listeners to remember?
It's simple, but powerful. Lasting change doesn't have to be drastic or overwhelming. Those tiny, consistent steps we take each day, those choices that seem insignificant in the moment, they have the power to create extraordinary results.
It's about those small hinges that swing big doors. What a fantastic way to put it. I think that's a perfect place to pause for now. But I'm curious. The book mentions how physical challenges can spark personal growth. Do you think the reverse is true as well? Can the lessons we learn from personal growth actually enhance our physical well-being?
That's a brilliant question, and it's a crucial part of understanding the mind-body connection. Let's explore that further when we come back.
Welcome back. We were just discussing how tackling physical challenges can build mental resilience. But I'm wondering, can personal growth, like the stuff we learn through experience, therapy, all that, actually impact our physical health?
It's a great question, and the answer is a resounding yes. The mind-body breakthrough makes it clear that this connection works both ways. When we develop certain mental and emotional skills, it directly translates into physical benefits.
Okay, I'm hooked. Can you give me a concrete example?
Sure. Let's talk about stress. We all know chronic stress is terrible for us, high blood pressure, digestive problems, the list goes on. But when we learn to manage stress through things like mindfulness or deep breathing, it's personal growth, right?
Yeah.
And it directly impacts our physical well-being.
So it's like those mental tools we build are also giving our bodies a break.
Exactly. The book even gets into the science of it. Reducing stress lowers our cortisol levels. Cortisol is the stress hormone, and when it's constantly high, it wreaks havoc. But lower cortisol means better sleep, a stronger immune system, even less inflammation. It's a chain reaction.
So working on our mental and emotional health isn't just about feeling better, it's setting the stage for our bodies to function better too.
Absolutely. And this extends beyond just stress. Cultivating positive emotions, things like gratitude and joy, also has a significant impact on our physical health.
I've heard a lot about the power of gratitude lately, but how does that translate into tangible physical benefits?
Well, research shows that practicing gratitude actually increases levels of dopamine and serotonin in the brain. Those are the neurotransmitters associated with happiness, motivation, even pain relief.
Wait, so gratitude is actually increasing those feel-good chemicals in our brains?
Precisely. And those changes then lead to a whole cascade of positive effects, things like improved sleep, reduced anxiety, even lower blood pressure. It's pretty remarkable.
It is. It really highlights how our thoughts and emotions are not just happening in our heads, they're actually influencing the health of our whole system.
That's a great way to put it. The mind-body breakthrough emphasizes that a positive mindset is just as important as fitness or productivity when it comes to our overall well-being. Our thoughts aren't just passengers, they're actively driving the
I
bus.
love that analogy. It makes you realize you have more control than you might think. Speaking of control, the book talks about self-compassion. Where does that fit into the picture?
Self-compassion is simply treating yourself with the same kindness and understanding you would offer a close friend. And surprisingly, it has a profound impact on our physical health.
Okay, now I'm really intrigued. How does being kinder to ourselves actually translate into tangible physical benefits?
Well, think about it when we're constantly criticizing ourselves, dwelling on our shortcomings. What are we doing? We're triggering our stress response. That leads to a flood of cortisol, which, as we talked about earlier, leads to inflammation, weakened immunity, digestive issues. It's like we're waging war on our own bodies.
So negative self-talk is literally harming us physically.
You got it. But when we practice self-compassion, when we acknowledge our imperfections without judgment and offer ourselves support and encouragement, we're calming our nervous system down. We
Yeah.
give our bodies a break from those harmful stress hormones.
So it's like we need to shift from that inner critic to an inner cheerleader, someone who's rooting for us even when we mess up.
Exactly. The Mind-Body Breakthrough offers a bunch of practical ways to do this mindful self-awareness, challenging negative self-talk, engaging in activities that bring us joy. It's about shifting our mindset, which then benefits both our mental and physical health.
I'm seeing more and more how interconnected everything is. Our thoughts, our emotions, our actions, they all play a role in shaping our overall well-being.
That's the beauty of the mind-body connection, and it reminds us that we have more power over our health than we realize. Now, how do we actually do all this? I know the book talks about a 90-day blueprint. What's that all about?
Right. Is it super rigid or is it more like a general guide?
It's a step-by-step guide, but it's designed to be super flexible and adaptable. The first step is identifying your core values, what truly matters to you when it comes to well-being. Then you define your vision for the future.
So it's about getting really clear on what you want to achieve and why it matters to you personally.
Exactly. And then the blueprint helps you set realistic goals, create action plans, and of course, build those sustainable habits we keep talking about.
So it's like a roadmap, but one that you can personalize along the way to fit your own unique needs.
That's a great way to put it. And one of the most important things is that it emphasizes breaking down those big, daunting goals into smaller, more manageable steps.
So instead of trying to overhaul your entire life overnight, it's about making small, consistent changes that add up over time.
You got it. The blueprint also provides a ton of tools and strategies for staying motivated, overcoming obstacles, and celebrating those wins along the way.
It's like having a built-in personal coach and cheerleader all in one.
Exactly. And remember, it's not one size fits all. You adapt it to your own needs and goals. The book encourages you to experiment, to be flexible, and to embrace that process of self-discovery as you go.
It's about taking control of your own well-being and finding what works best for you. But let's be real, are there any downsides to this approach? What kind of challenges might people encounter along the way?
That's a great question. And the book is very honest about those potential challenges. One of the biggest hurdles people face is resistance to change. We're creatures of habit, even when those habits aren't serving us well. Breaking free from them can be tough.
So it's about recognizing that change can be uncomfortable and having some strategies in place to navigate those moments of resistance.
Exactly. And the book gives some great tips for overcoming that resistance, like starting small, celebrating those early wins, and finding ways to make the process more enjoyable. It's about reframing change as a positive challenge, a chance for growth and discovery.
Love that. Another big one, especially for our busy listeners, is time, right? How do we fit all this in?
That's where the book's focus on time-efficient strategies really comes in handy. It's all about finding those small pockets of time throughout your day and using them strategically. Maybe it's a quick 10-minute meditation during your lunch break, a workout while your kids are at soccer practice, or even just a few moments of mindful breathing while you're stuck in traffic.
It's about those little bits of effort that add up over time, even when you feel like you don't have a spare minute.
Exactly. And the book also reminds us to be patient with ourselves. Real, lasting change takes time. So celebrate those small victories along the way. Don't get discouraged by setbacks or compare yourself to others.
It's a marathon, not a sprint.
Sure.
Stace,
Enjoy the journey. Enjoy the process of growth and transformation. Don't get so focused on the end goal that you miss out on the progress you're making each day.
love that shift in perspective. It's about embracing the journey, not just chasing the destination. What else is crucial for people to keep in mind as they're working toward personal growth?
Pay attention to your self-talk. The way we talk to ourselves has a huge impact on our motivation, resilience, and ultimately our success.
So it's about being our own best cheerleaders, right? Offering ourselves encouragement and support instead of criticism and judgment.
You nailed it. The book provides a bunch of techniques for reframing that negative self-talk. Replace those self-defeating thoughts with more empowering, more compassionate ones.
It's about shifting from that inner critic to that inner coach who truly believes in us and wants to see us succeed. We're almost out of time for this part, but I have to ask if there was just one piece of advice you could offer to our listeners who are feeling overwhelmed by the idea of personal growth, what would it be?
Keep it simple. Start small. Be patient. And celebrate every single win, no matter how tiny it seems. Remember, transformation is a journey, not a destination. And every step, no matter how small, takes you in the right direction.
Beautiful. Progress, not perfection. That's the key. That leads perfectly into our final part where we'll harp. Welcome back to our final part. We've been deep diving into the mind-body breakthrough, uncovering so many incredible insights. From small habits to the amazing mind-body connection, I feel like we've been handed a whole new playbook for personal growth.
It has been quite the journey. And one thing that's really stuck with me is that this book doesn't just give you tools for change. It shows you how to make those changes last.
Absolutely. Earlier, we talked about turning health and self-improvement into a lifelong pursuit, not just a quick fix. What does that look like practically? How do we actually live that?
It's about shifting how we see self-improvement. Instead of thinking of it as a destination, like I reached this goal, then I'm done, we start seeing it as a continuous journey.
So, no finish line, just constant growth and learning. I like that idea, but it's a big shift.
It is. But the book gives us a really helpful way to approach this. It's all about focusing less on specific outcomes and more on those daily habits that shape who we become.
It's like that saying, we are what we repeatedly do. Our habits really are the building blocks, huh?
They are. The mind-body breakthrough reminds us that this isn't about striving for some impossible idea of perfection. It's about embracing progress, celebrating small wins, and realizing that setbacks are just part of the process. They don't mean we failed.
That's a huge relief. It's about being kind to ourselves, knowing that we're all works in progress, always evolving.
Exactly. And to keep that progress moving, to make sure we're actually doing the things, the book emphasizes the importance of systems. Not complicated stuff, but simple ways to track our actions and see how far we've come.
I'm all about systems. They make things so much easier. What kind of systems are we talking about here?
It can be as simple as a habit tracker to monitor your daily wins, or setting weekly milestones to break down those bigger goals into bite-sized chunks. Even journaling is a powerful system. It helps you reflect and hold yourself accountable.
I love journaling. There's something about putting it all down on paper that makes it feel more real, more actionable.
I agree. And the book also encourages regular check-ins with yourself. Take a few minutes each week to see what's working, what's not, and where you might need to adjust your approach.
It's like those mini strategy sessions, making sure you're on track and fine-tuning things as you go. As we're wrapping up this deep dive into the mind-body breakthrough, I'm curious, what's the biggest takeaway you'll carry with you?
The biggest thing for me is realizing that lasting change doesn't have to be this massive, overwhelming undertaking. It really is about those small, consistent actions we take each day. Choices that might seem insignificant on their own, but over time, they add up to create incredible transformation.
It's amazing, isn't it? Those small hinges really can swing big doors. That's such a perfect way to sum it all up. So to our listeners, if you're feeling inspired to embark on your own journey of transformation, we highly recommend checking out The Mind-Body Breakthrough by Nazrin Nasser. You can scan the QR code in our show notes, which will take you straight to the book, and we've even got some exclusive bonus materials just for our Deep Dive listeners.
Don't miss those bonuses. And remember, even the smallest habit can spark incredible change. Don't underestimate the power of those little steps.
So true. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep pushing those boundaries. We'll see you on our next deep dive.
Take care and remember, the power to transform your life lies within you.